All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our daily huddle. Jesse Macpherson coming at you here from South Lake Tahoe. I'm hoping that I'm okay. You guys are a little glitchy on me. I think my internet service is not the best, but I'm just going to keep rolling, and hopefully at least you can hear, even if I'm a little robot-y. So I want to talk a little bit about what I actually shared yesterday in the social networking professionals groups, and I realized that it was a topic that I never discussed here inside of our team huddles. And it's something that I wanted to expand on, and also something to really kind of pay attention to as kind of the evolution of this growth process. So on Wednesdays, one of the things that I'm attempting to do is share with you a little bit about my experience and the courses I've taken, the events that I've gone to, the books that I've read that have helped me along the journey, along the path. So as you guys know, development and self-development, it's not one of the most important. I think it's one of the most important thing that we can do, is because no matter where you go, there you are. So we are in a people business, and where we can, studying sales, studying traction marketing, studying everything, is also making sure that we're studying people. Okay. So, and hopefully is, if you could type into the chat box, you can hear me, that would be great. I just want to make sure. So we're good. Perfect. So what I want to do is share with you, I've been a big fan of Tony Robbins' work for many years, and for those of you guys that have studied any of his work or been to any of his events, he's got powerful content. And one of the things I love is when he starts his events, generally speaking, he'll basically go, look, I get mistaken a lot of times as a motivator. I'm not a motivator. I'm not a motivational guy. I'm a why guy. I'm a why. Why is it people do certain things? Why is it someone says they want XYZ and they do something completely opposite? Why is it someone says they want a quality relationship or passion or finances, and then do things that sabotage those things? And just this in kind of insatiable curiosity as to why people do what they do, and why is it that we have this condition of suffering that we all experience from really an emotional standpoint. And for those of you guys that read any of his books, Unlimited Power or Awaken the Giant Within, although they're great content, for me, his events are really where you get a chance to see the interactions of the work that he's done. And I don't think there's anyone on the planet that has spent more time with more successful people than him. Now, whether or not you like the content or not, I want to share with you some of the things that were really beneficial for me when it talks about human need psychology. And human need psychology is, everybody has a reason they do everything. Everybody has a reason they do everything. There's no like, I have no idea why I did that. Whether it was conscious or subconscious, there's a need that's being met. There's a need that's being met in order for every action, kind of cause and effect situation that we have. Now, there are two primary drivers in our life is that we are looking to as human beings is gravitate towards one of two feelings, running towards and running away from. So the feelings we're usually trying to run towards are pleasure, and the feelings we're trying to run away from are pain. So pleasure and pain are big barometers. Now, if you were to take us back to, let's take critical thinking, let's take imagination out of the equation and kind of go back to just, kind of a mammal survival instinct, is what we're looking to do is we're looking to survive. So this 10,000-year-old brain was not designed for your happiness. It was designed for your survival. So what it's really trying to do, generally speaking, is put you in a comfort zone where things never change, because that means it can be safe. Challenge for most of us is safety means no growth. So what I want to do is share with you these 6 human needs, and how we meet these needs and how we respond to these needs is really going to determine a lot of why we do what we do. But also it's important to think about when you're building your organization, just like learning kind of the personality colors, red, greens, blues, yellows. This is also another way to start identifying and learning more about you and learning more about the people you're working with in terms of what is important and what motivates them. So number 1, okay, 6 human needs, write this down, 6 human needs. Number 1 is the need for certainty. The need for certainty. We are certainty people. So like, good example, if you didn't know the roof was going to stay on over your head, I am certain you would not be paying attention to me. We need a base level. If you're driving down the road and you're not certain the cars coming the other way are going to stay on their side of the road, For sure, you're not paying attention to this phone call. So when it comes to certainty, it's something that we absolutely need. When human beings fall into just complete uncertainty, this is like shock zone. Good example, parents. Think about this. How many of you guys have been walking through the mall or you're walking outside somewhere and all of a sudden you turn around and you can't find your child? Your level of certainty has gone out the window. If you are not certain where your child is, everything in your system is freak out, right? So if you're not certain, like these are things that are happening. If you don't know where you're trying, you don't know the safety of someone. So when we're completely uncertain, this is where human beings break down. They start acting incredibly irrational. What they're looking for is a level of certainty. So certainty is number one. However, okay, if you knew what was going to happen every moment of the day, every second of the day, before it happened for the rest of your life, what would you be? Bored out of your mind, right? I mean, so God, in her infinite wisdom, created a second need, which is the need for uncertainty or variety. So I'll give you an example. How many guys like surprises? Show of hands. Right? And I act like what Tony would say, he'd say, BS. You like the surprises you like. Surprises you don't like, you call problems. So surprises you don't like, you call problems. Good example. I was surprised when my belt broke on my car and I'm pulled over on the side of the road. That's a surprise. I did not like that surprise. Now, of course, we try to find a way to make the best of over every situation and turn lemons into lemonade and all that jazz. And also, you know, thinking about life isn't happening to you, life is happening for you. And there are some things that it just happens. However, the need for variety is really important. Give you an example. How many of you guys have watched a movie or rewatched a movie you've already seen? It's like, why would you do that, right? And here's the reason why. You're certain that it's good because you remember it being good, but you also believe that you've forgotten enough about it that there's some variety or things that you don't remember as things you haven't seen. So when it comes to variety, when it comes to uncertainty, now, all right, variety or uncertainty, this is where you're going to start unveiling in your passions because it's stretching outside of your comfort zone. If it's something you know, it's going to be falling into certainty. So I like how Tony says it. He says that the quality of your life will be in direct proportion to the amount of uncertainty you can comfortably live with. I'm going to say that one again. The quality of your life will be in direct proportion to the amount of uncertainty you can comfortably live with. Why? Because on the edge of uncertainty, that's the edge of your comfort zone. That's where growth is. That's where passion is. Now, I not want to push somebody into their shock zone because when you push them outside of that uncertainty into freak out, all of a sudden, you know, human beings pretty much shut down. Okay, we can't focus. So when it comes to this, is where can I get into areas where, man, I'm in areas I've never been before. It's like that's where passion is. Think about the first time that you've jumped out of an airplane. Now, some of you guys are going, I've never jumped out of an airplane. Okay. Think about if you were to go to 15,000 feet, they open the door. I remember the first time I went skydiving and my mom was freaking out because my mom doesn't like heights. She's like, well, what if I get up there and I don't want to go? He's like, well, when the doors open and the wind is really loud coming through, he says, no sounds a lot like go. So, but when it comes to the certainty and you jump, like when you take that moment of uncertainty and jump out of an airplane and every blood vessel in your body is pumping, right? I mean, it's like you're alive and you're flying and it's crazy. Uncertainty. Think about the things in your life that used to be scary, okay, that you ventured into. And some people are so caught up in finding certainty in everything that they're going to end up finding a lot of pain because ultimately what they want is they want growth. But if they're always seeking certainty, it's going to be difficult. So need number one is the need for certainty. Need number two, need for uncertainty or variety. Need number three is the need for significance. The need for significance. Who has the need to feel important? And it's everybody. Everybody has this need to want to feel important, to feel recognized, to feel special, to feel appreciated, to feel noticed, right? And this is something that really, all of these needs and how we adapt to them really get developed in earlier stages. Now, There are so many ways to fill your needs of certainty, fill your needs of variety. There's so many ways to fill your needs for significance. All right, but we're going to fill them on a scale of 1 to 10. We're going to fill them on a low level, or we're going to fill them on a high level, and we can fill them in positive, we can fill them in neutral, and we can fill them in negative ways. So the need for significance, right? I can become more significant by having more tattoos than anybody. I can be more significant by owning more cars or having more shoes. I can be more significant by being more successful or having the most degrees or giving away the most money. People say, "Oh, I'm giving it away for charity." It's like, yeah, but it's a feeling that you're after. It's feeling good. Why? Feeling like I did something. Like I contributed. I'm important, right? So everything we do, we have a reason for. When it comes to significance, this is one of the big things, especially in Western culture. In Western culture, the need to be important, keeping up with the Joneses, spending money we don't have to impress people that we don't even know or some we don't even like. Why? To feel important, to feel significant, to feel like we matter, that we're somebody, right? And these are like, it's one of the scariest things that people can add, is just not being recognized. And so this is why people will do extreme things. This is also what people have found out. It's one of the reasons why the biggest disease and the biggest addiction in our country, at least US and Canada, it's not prescription medication, it's not drugs, it's not alcohol, it's problems. People are addicted to problems. Why? Because if I have a problem, I'm significant. In fact, the bigger my problem, the more significant that I am. All right. And so you don't think people have figured this out consciously or subconsciously? You have a problem? Oh my God, look at my problem. Look how big my problem is. I got to show you my problem. Let me tell you all about my problem. Tell them I'm important. I have an important problem, right? So now when it comes to number 3, significance, this is one of those ones where usually underlying it, they're craving need number 4. Now, need number 4 is the need for love and or connection. The need for love and or connection. Now, love for most people is too scary, so they settle for connection. They settle for the crumbs of connection because love requires you to have a level of intimacy where you can be hurt. And what I mean by intimacy, I don't mean it from in a sexual standpoint. I mean it intimacy like into me you see. Like letting someone in, letting your walls down, being able to be open and willing to be vulnerable, willing to be hurt, willing to give without a kind of a horse trading, like I'm giving in order to get. Like I'm really just giving, and I want because when you really love someone, what will you do for that person, right? Anything. And it's not a, well, I've done this in a level of measuring, but this is what people really crave more than anything else. And most people's deepest fear is that they're not enough. And if they're not enough, they won't be loved. So when you kind of boil all these down, you look at certainty, uncertainty, significance, love, and connection. All right. They really are kind of almost opposite of each other, these two and these two. Because if I want love and connection with somebody, this is getting close. But then it's like, no, I want to be different. This is why you see a lot of times people in the entertainment industry and celebrities, they're like, what, how did it happen? How did someone like, Robin Williams? How did somebody like, these people where they become incredibly significant, they become incredibly important, but really they end up feeling so different or so isolated or so alone because either nobody gets them, understands them, or all of a sudden I'm only recognized for this, and a loss of love or a loss of connection. So these are things that I want you guys to be thinking about when it comes to it. Now, we all meet these on some area. One of the things that I want you guys to be paying attention to is if you find something that meets your needs on a high scale, okay, all right, on a 10 or like 8, 9, 10, 3 or more of your needs, you will become addicted to it, positive or negative. This is one of the reasons why violence is going to be, unless we have a complete, mental awakening, it's going to be difficult to remove from our society because violence allows you to meet your needs at a high level almost instantaneously with no education, no background, and no real thought process. So a good example, if I put a gun to your head, am I certain you're going to pay attention to me? On a scale of 1 to 10? Yeah, 10. Is there variety here? Is there uncertainty? Do I know what's going to happen? Is my blood flowing? Is there, who knows what the situation is going to unfold into, right? Am I significant in your world? On a scale of 1 to 10? Yeah, 100. If you weren't paying attention to me before, you're paying attention to me now. Nothing else matters in this moment. I'm very significant to you in your world, right? And although there may not be love, there's definitely connection. We are intimately connected, whether you want to agree to it or not. This is something. So these will meet something on a high level. So when you're meeting those needs, whether you're meeting certainty, significance. So how do we find when we go to Food. So again, I've said this before, people don't buy products or services, they buy feelings and they buy identities. So what is it people are looking for? They're looking for a feeling. They're looking for, how does this make me feel? So when somebody is traveling down a path of whatever it may be, I'm always looking for, what is the feeling that they're after? What is the direction that they're going? So these are the four primary needs: the need for certainty, uncertainty, variety, significance, love, and connection. But there are the two fulfillment needs. And the two fulfillment needs are growth and contribution. Growth and contribution. So growth, obviously you're not new to this conversation. I talk about it all the time. If you're not growing, you're dying. There is no coasting uphill. If you want to get somewhere, you want to go somewhere, you got to grow somewhere. If you want to, go up, you got to give up. If you want things to get better, you need to get better. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. And when you really start kind of taking this on, and growth becomes a part of your need structure, it's not something that you should do, but something that you need to do, and starts filling you up. This is huge, right? So when it comes to growth being it's because progress equals happiness. Good example. Let's say you're 50 pounds overweight. If you lose 3 pounds, you're happy because you're on the way. Now, you're still overweight, but you're on your way. You're headed somewhere. If you're 50 pounds and you gain 3 pounds, it's not that big of a difference in terms of your overweight, but the feeling is, I'm going in the wrong direction. So direction is more important than speed. I want you guys to write that down. Direction is more important than speed. I would rather you go in the right direction slowly than the wrong direction quickly, or any direction that matter, at any pace. But direction more important than speed. So once we have the direction right, you can always learn to speed up. Okay. So growth, number 5. And number 6, contribution. The secret to living is giving. We've heard it before. Pay it forward, pass it on. This is the thing that most people are missing. And one of the reasons why they're missing so much joy in their life is focusing on self. Suffering is simply focusing on self. If you're suffering, you're focusing on you. When you can start getting outside of you and focusing on others and focusing on contribution, I'm telling you, you'll find a whole lot more. If you wake up in the morning going, man, having one of those bad days. You guys know what I'm talking about? Woke up on the wrong side of the bed. It's like, we'll push the bed to one wall where there's not a bad side to wake up on, right? But this is where a lot of people are, is make up in the morning and go, okay, let's not focus on me. Who can I call today and make their life a little better? Who can I contribute to today? Who can I make a phone call today? So this is one of the reasons why I get a lot of joy and a lot of fulfillment. I get to wake up every day. Today is, for me, is not just about growth, it's about contribution. But when I told you, if you meet 3 of these 4 or 6 needs, now that you know all 6, at a high level, you get addicted. This is why I'm addicted to Seacret. That's why I'm addicted to network marketing. So think about it, right? So am I certain that I can be successful in Seacret on a scale of 1 to 10? Yes, like 1,000, 1,000,000, right? Is there variety? Are you kidding me? Yeah, like we work with people, and people are weird. You guys understand that, right? There's so much variety. Like, it's very difficult to get bored when you're building an organization in network marketing, especially in global expansion of products and development and marketing and we're pivoting. I mean, geez, I mean, at some point, I feel like I'd kind of almost like to get a little more bored with systems, not having to change things so often, because I'm like, so variety, but it beats it on a scale of 1 to 10. It's a 10. Significance. Do I feel significant? Yeah. Do I feel important? Do I get recognized from my company and other people? And do I feel like I'm special? Yeah. Network marketing is incredible for people that significance is high on their list. Why? Because we recognize the crap out of people when they go out there and do something, right? Number 4, need for love and connection. Do I have that? On a scale of 1 to 10, with Seacret is a 10. Right? Now, does that mean that every day sunshine and rainbows? Of course not, right? Does it mean that every day that I'm going to agree with everything? No, I'm going to have disagreements. But from love, from the family, from the people, from Isaac, from the Ben Shabbat, it's like, man, like feeling love, feeling like someone has my back, someone's there for me. They're going to tell me what I want to need to hear instead of what I want to hear. Huge growth and contribution. So like Seacret network marketing fills my needs on a huge scale. So I want you to think about this real quickly. We're going to go through them real quick. So we've got certainty, uncertainty, variety. We got significance, we got love and connection, we got growth, and we got contribution. These 6 human needs. So if we were to kind of take a look at any action we take and going, okay, what need am I looking to fill? Okay. All right. But the question I want you to ask yourself is, what need, if you were to guess, is the one that you value more than any others? Okay. A good example is someone like me who wants to go skydiving and wants to go pretty much experience almost anything he can in life. Okay. Would you guys agree with me that my value structure, or the what I variable, is somebody who values certainty as their number one need versus someone that values variety is going to be very different. Good example, my fiance. She's skydiving. She's like, no. Like, even like, the certainty is at the top of her list and variety is at the top of my list. Good example is, how many of you guys go back to the same restaurant because you're certain it's good? For me, if I'm certain a restaurant is good, but there's a restaurant I haven't eaten at near it, I will eat at the restaurant I've never eaten at, even if it may be worse, because it could be better. I don't know. I gotta have the variety. Or other people are like, I don't want to take the risk. Okay. So which need do you value most? Okay. Now, let's not do the growth, the fulfillment needs, growth and contribution. Let's talk about the first 4. From certainty, variety, significance, love and connection. I'm not saying which one do you want to be number one. Meaning, how do you act? How do you live your life? Because how do you play games? So think about that. What's number 1? What's number 2? What's number 3? What's number 4? See if you can put them in order. Okay. Now, what we've kind of looked at is, and people will do almost anything to remain consistent with who they believe they are. So the minute that you decide to value one of these needs over the other, your entire world changes. Everything changes. Okay. So now, I'm not saying that you need to work your list, but I will tell you this. If significance and certainty are at the top of your list, okay, and usually in that order, you're going to usually have a life filled with a lot of frustration and a lot of pain. Okay. Because life is ever changing, and learning how to adapt to change and learning how to kind of roll with the punches. But more importantly, know that is, if I want things to get better, I'm going to get better and moving into some kind of a growth or contribution phase, but also significance. The more significant that you are or need to be, a lot of the times, what ends up happening is you end up isolating yourself from more and more people. Okay. So, and this is where you start seeing people where egos go through the roof, because being significant is more important. So I want you to kind of be paying attention to these, but also I want you to be thinking about your team. Okay. So I've got people on my team, and what they're feeling in terms of their excitement or their direction is, what need is lacking. Okay. What do they need? So inside of your business, I want you to think about the emotions that you experience the most, right? Maybe it's overwhelm, maybe it's frustration, maybe it's upset, anger on the negative side, and go, okay, which part of my need structure here is not getting hit? So anytime I have an emotion, so it doesn't matter what it is, if it's something it's not used to popping up in my body, it's almost like I get to like step outside of my body, like, and witness it in like a third party perspective. It's very unique. Anytime an emotion hits me where I'm like, ooh, that's a new one. Where did that come from? So, because emotions don't just come out of the ether and go into our body, we create them. Here's a great question. What would I have to believe in order to feel this way? What would I have to believe in order to feel this way? So I remember, like, oh man, I was just so upset the other day with something that happened in my business. And I was just like, I was like seething. I was so angry. And, and I'm angry because I'm angry, like, I'm angry. I'm pissed off at what this person did. I'm pissed off. I can't believe this is happening. And then I had to kind of take a step back, and go, what would I have to believe in order to feel this angry? I'd have to believe that this and this and this, in order to feel this mad, I'd have to believe that. Is that really the truth? I don't know. Maybe it's not that. And all of a sudden I'm able to kind of backtrack this and go, okay, what need was really missing for me? Oh man, my need for significance got rocked. All of a sudden, that's all it was. I felt like to this person, I was insignificant today. I wasn't important. Everything I'd ever done, everything I'd ever did was no longer important. So it was like this pullback. And I was like, wow, not only that, but my need for connection, love. Oh man, okay. So if I can start realizing anytime I'm having these things pop up, what need is really being ripped out, and how can I go in there and find a better way to fill that need. And for me, one of my go-tos for anytime my certainty gets rocked was food, because I was certain if I eat food, I'm going to fill up my stomach and I'm going to rock and I can just chill, right? And this need for comfort. That's why they call it comfort food, right? So, because it's going to make me feel comfortable. So, all right. Now, let's take a look at these here real quick. Certainty, variety, okay? You're taking a look at significance, taking a look at love and connection, taking a look at growth contribution. Is which ones do you value the most? And how can you take a look at this from a little bit better, more insight from you and for your business? Okay. Does anybody have any questions about any of these? Not that I am no super expert in human need psychology, but I've been fortunate to be around the conversation. Probably, I remember I listened to my first training series from probably Tony Robbins. I think it was 20. I was 20 years old. I had him in my car, and it was 6 CDs on the human need psychology and many events. So, questions?
Yes.
Yep.
Can you hear me? Is there a particular book or audio or something that has this in it? There's somebody in my family I'd like to share this with.
Personal Power is a great book from Tony Robbins. Awaken the Giant Within. Both good books are good. I can't remember which
Personal Power. What was the other one?
Awaken the Giant Within. They're both
Awakening the Giant Within.
Yeah, they're both Tony Robbins books. They're both good. However, I would definitely recommend, if you can get on some of his audios and some of his books, and if you have an opportunity to go to one of his events, I would highly recommend it. So I'm sad I didn't get a chance to go to his last event, which is in San Jose. They canceled. So that's it for today, guys. So enough to chew on, enough to chomp on. So we've got in an hour here, we've got our social networking professionals training that's happening inside of the group. So let's get inside there and let's chat it up, talk it up, post it up, tag it up inside of that group, and let's rank it up and run it up. And I will see you guys tomorrow.